then back to day, then back to thermal. Hey, what's going on, guys? Brandon here with Texas Plinking, and I've got a really exciting video on some thermals. Everything's relative, but relatively budget side of thermal, but probably the most versatile setups I've seen yet, especially at this price point. Now, I realize everyone's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter, and this might be a long video, so I'll give you guys the quick summary now. You guys can decide if you want to watch the whole video. I'm going to talk about some thermal optics that are thermal scopes on their own right, in the sense that they have reticles to choose from and stuff. You could go into a mode called clip-on, and if you have a monolithic rail, put this on the front of an LPVO or a prism type of optic and turn that into your thermal optic. So it's a thermal clip-on, and they're so compact that you guys can actually just hand hold and just scan them like a monocular. So it's a 3-in-1 thermal, and the price is quite insane when you look at this feature set, the specs, and just all the use cases. So that being said, if that sounds interesting to you, we're going to go ahead and dive into it and actually put it to use. These are called the DNT, or Day-Night Technologies, Hydras. Now, in November, if you guys recall, I made a video with something called the DNT Thermite, and you could see my reactions develop on that video. It was November 10th I uploaded it, and I was genuinely shocked as I kept shooting it. Now, the Thermite from DNT is similar to this, except with all these other things hanging off the side of it. So it's a thermal scope, but it also has a digital night and digital day mode. So it's like a digital camera. It's got a laser rangefinder, infrared light for the digital night vision, and stuff like that. Well, if you strip all that off to where you just have the thermal housing, that's what these Hydras are. And with that said, they have a very compact form factor. This is just a little eye cup here, but look at that form factor, nothing crazy hanging off the side of it. Now, that being said, a lot of people saw the Thermite video and said I was wrong about the price because it was just under $1,000 when you used a coupon code Texas Plinking, and that price actually didn't change. I should have clarified in that video, there's 3 different models to choose from. That was the most entry level. As the resolution goes up with the thermal, that's when prices start going up there. But that optic still, with all the feature set, it is just under $1,000, like $989 or something like that. And I said, if you just got it just for thermal, you're in a pretty good shape. Well, that's what these are, the Hydras, and they also have 3 different offerings. And just to give you guys the biggest number right off the gate, just to swallow it, $2,000 is the most expensive the Hydras get, and they start at just under $800. So $800 to $2,000, there's 3 different models to choose from. And I don't have all 3, but I do have the 2 opposite ends from each other. I have one that goes for just under $800 and one that goes for just under $2,000 when, again, using code Texas Plinking, because the MSRPs and retails are a little different as well. This is my CMMG Banshee Mark 47, so it's chambered in the AK's round, 7.62 by 39 with the AK Rock and Lock mag. This is the HS225, and this is the one that, when using that code, is just under $800 as a dedicated thermal and a clip-on and all that stuff. This is the nicer of the Hydras, the HS635, the higher resolution one. And again, using the code is just under $2 grand, and we're gonna use it as a dedicated thermal optic initially on this right here. This is a Palmetto State Armory PSA P10 A1 A2, something like that. It's a 16-inch 308, one of their like clone series from the Saber lines. So as far as showcasing the clip-on features, we have 2 different LPVOs, 2 very different prices too, so I thought that'd be kind of smart to showcase. Anyway, as far as rifle, this is an AR-15 from Victor Industries. As far as the optic though, Arkin Optics EP8 1:8x28, first focal plane, and these things for the money are just insane. I'll go ahead and like prompt up here. I think they're like 420 bucks, and Arkin also has that same coupon code, Texas Plinking, drops it quite a bit, so I'll go ahead and display that here. So this is an economic LPVO that I've had great things to say about it ever since it came out. So we're going to throw one, or if not both, of the thermals as clip-ons onto that device. On the higher end of LPVOs, we're going to showcase this. This is a Vortex Racer HD Gen 3 1:10 LPVO. We got it mounted on the Saber 15 from PSA as well, the Mark 12 Mod S 14.5-inch pin and weld barrel. Now we're going to get into some of the specifications of everything, just so you guys know what to expect, because why $800 and why $2,000? Why is there such a price difference? They have a feature called Super Resolution that's actually exclusive to the Hydras. Even the Thermite doesn't have it for some reason. And it is an AI enhanced algorithm that enhances the image to where it's as if it has 1.5 times the resolution it really does. You can turn that feature off, and from my experience, there's no reason to, because it actually does a really good job at kind of faking that extra quality. But that being said, I'm going to go to my cheat sheet here. That's going to make this resolution of 256 as if it's 384. It makes the middle one, that's 384, as if it's 576. And then this Hydra here, it's as if the 640 went up to 960 resolution. Again, if you don't like that feature, you can turn it off, but from my experience, no reason to. So it's kind of cool, it just enhances it. Now, the big thing I would say, the big difference, other than the resolution, I would argue the biggest part of it is the versatility and the different zoom ranges. In that, long story short, the more expensive Hydra has a much wider field of view because the minimum magnification is 1.5x. That's the big thing. Versus this one here, the one for 800 bucks, the minimum is 3x. And that doesn't really bother you by any means on a purpose like this when it's mounted directly onto a gun just to be a dedicated thermal. Although it's still usable to be a clip-on, a 1.5x opens it up so much for just handhold scanning, for a clip-on, and just a thermal, just to have that versatility. And just because I have my notes here, just to confirm the price is $999.99, retails $885, and then right now Texas Plinking coupon code makes it $797, so it just sneaks under 800 bucks. Now, once you fork out the big bucks, and again, big bucks, but relatively for what this gets you, you'd be hard pressed to find something that isn't at least double its price, and that would still be considered economic. $3,000 MSRP. But then the retail is actually $2,219.99, but Texas Plinking makes it $1,998. That makes it sound a lot better than $2,000, but you can round it up. It's about $2,000. And these Hydras, just like the Thermites, are very configurable in the sense that you could adjust between sharpness, contrast, all that kind of stuff. There's different reticles to choose from. Some are MOA, some are mil, some are just certain shapes to choose from, different reticle colors. And as far as your thermal, you have white hot, black hot, red hot, iron hot. And like I said, just so many ways to configure it for what you're wanting in your circumstance. It's very lightweight. The heaviest example is the 635, and it weighs 13.7 ounces. Again, of the three, that's the heaviest one. And as you can see, with the eyepiece removed, it is unbelievably compact. It comes with 2 batteries, a charger that can charge both of them at the same time. It's got Wi-Fi connecting abilities with the app, and the app works flawlessly from my experience. No SD cards to worry about. It's got 32 gigabytes of built-in memory for internal recording. They're 50 BMG rated, IP67 waterproof rating, and they got a 2-year warranty. It also comes with this mount. Now I want to talk about the mounting methods just because it might depend on your guys' uses. All of them come with the exact same mount, and it's very sturdy in the sense that I think it was like 4 screws that mount into the thermal itself and 3 here that clamp onto the pick rail. And that's what comes with all of them, like I said. Now, what you can do is get other mounts later. Again, just thought I'd mention this because you guys might get it dedicated to a clip-on. But stuff like this, American Defense mounts and stuff like that, you could do that as well. And rather than all 4, you could just mount to 2 of the screws on the bottom. And that way you could have something like this on a quick attach, quick detach. So you could throw it super quickly on a monolithic rail like this to use as your clip-on. As you can tell, I was not totally prepared for that. But anyway, what I'm personally curious about, and maybe we'll just mess with it later, is could we put something like this on a swivel, which I have the mounting stuff for, to where you could almost like have it dead on and then swivel it off to the side to go back to day. I think that could work, but we shall see. Once you put a clip-on on there, now you need to zero the clip-on to the day scope. Reason being is that your day optic is looking into a screen, and if this moves at all, it's going to project whatever it is slightly different as well. So you want it as parallel as possible, and so that's the big thing to know is once you put it on there, put it in clip-on mode, which takes the reticle out, and move some things in the screen to optimize it for clip-on. And once you go to 0, it's clip-on 0, not moving reticle. The reticle's gone. And so you're trying to get the screen to be as parallel with the optic itself. So you need to zero your thermal to your scope when you're gonna do clip-on. So we're gonna experiment with that too. All right, so let's go ahead and get some shots with this one here. Again, this is the most economic one as it comes, the HS225, using it as a dedicated thermal optic. If you quick press the record button, it's gonna give you a 10-second clip and stop after 10 seconds. So hold it down for a little bit of time, like 1, 2, 3, that should do it. And now I'll just keep recording until you stop it. So now we're recording and we're at 3 times zoom. And let's go ahead and hit some of these swinging targets here. Oh, missed that one. Oh, hold that one. There we go. Let's go ahead and kind of scan a little bit. We did this last time with a Thermite, and it's just an interesting perspective. Definitely some pretty good details, certainly at the price. We gotta remember, we're like a couple $100 under 1,000, which is like, I would have never thought. But you can see all the temperature is still within the tree trunks and all that kind of stuff. There's a like a shooting stand quite a bit further down there. I'll try to focus on it best I can, and I'll zoom in on it. So right now we're at 3. There's 4.5, 6, 9, 12. So it's not nothing. You could use that, but why? You know, because 3 looks so much better, and under thermal, you really need to zoom that much. If you do, then there it is for you. Again, for under $800 for a thermal scope, it's like a why not? Now, also, I would recommend that you check out the Thermite video, because this plus digital day, digital night, laser rangefinder, and all that stuff, ballistic calculator, if you want those features, it's going to be an additional 180 or so, 190. So at that point, might be worth it. But if you guys just want to streamline thermal scope that could be used as a clip-on, and we're going to show that in a bit, then there you go. All right, now with the HS635, with the relative big bucks, can do here on a 308. Oh, I'll pull that one. All right, so that's 3 times zoom. So this is now the minimum of the last scope. And 4.5, 6, 1.5. The quality of that one for under $800 is surprisingly good. It's not just barely usable, it's very much so usable. There's no threat of trying to hunt hogs or coyotes, and when you shoot it, it goes moo. Nothing like that, all right? You're not gonna hit someone's livestock on accident. You guys can very, very well tell the quality. In fact, on that other one, the 225, the first time I took it out of the box, I was curious, and it was night, and I scanned behind my house, and I saw 3 coyotes, clear as day. They were between 100 and 150 yards away, and it was very, very clear. I'll show that footage here because I started recording right away. This right here does have much better imaging. Rather than just seeing a bright coyote, this will show what parts of the coyote are warmest. It's that level of clarity, but the price really comes into its own when you consider that it goes down to 1.5 for clip-on purposes. So let's go ahead and repurpose these. So for under $800, how good of a clip-on is it? The minimum magnification of 3 is going to be the biggest hinder here, but by how much? Let's go ahead and find out. So I'm going to go ahead and mount it up as close as I can here. All right, going to hold down the settings menu here. So we're going to go ahead and clip-on mode is put on. Now that's in clip-on mode, go back to the settings, go all the way down to zeroing, and it says clip-on zeroing. So we hit that, and then we could go ahead and go to the XY axis and adjust and make it as parallel as possible. All right, guys, I'm pretty excited right now because I just sighted it in off camera, because I like to do that because sometimes the rough sighted might take a little bit, especially on a new system that I don't know as well. So I like to spare that from the camera, just save the time. That was the easiest thing ever. There's a mode on here, or feature called freeze or freeze frame, to where you can take the shot, see the hot spot in the ground, and you see where your aim point is, freeze, like screenshot it, and then that way you can just move the gun as much as you want and just bring it to the point of aim. I try to oversimplify it, but really it is that easy. Now, I will have to say though, we still have internal recording, and I'll use that, but just know that you guys won't see what I'm seeing at this point. Now, if we're using it as a dedicated thermal, you would, because the crosshairs, and that's all I'm seeing. But I'm looking through this, and I don't have a camera here for simplicity's sake. So I have a reticle here with the EP8, and I have the illumination turned on. So that's what I'm using at 1x zoom. So what I'm saying though is I'm gonna start screen recording now, and you guys won't see the reticle. That's what I'm getting at. Pull that one. Pull that one too. There we go. All right, so although I can't show you guys my perspective while I'm shooting, this is the best we got. So I got my phone up to it, and so this is the reticle illuminated from the day optic, but the thermal is happening because of the clip-on, as you see it right there. So what's crazy about the rig that I just showed is we're talking under $1,200 total between a mount and 2 different optics to get thermal and day to work. I think the EP8 is $315 last time I checked with code Texas Plinking at Arkin. The mount itself becomes $55 with that same code. And then at DNT, this is under $800 with Texas Plinking as a coupon code. So before we jump into the other rifle, I thought it'd be fair to use the same economic $315 LPVO, but then jump to the nicer of the clip-on. So now we're rocking this thing with the 1.5 times zoom, and right away my field of view is so much better. If there were more hogs in the field and all that kind of stuff, so much better. Overall, the quality on both has been pretty impressive, but obviously, needless to say, it's better here, but the field of view is the biggest part of it. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start recording, and once again, the only difference you guys are probably gonna be able to pick up is the wider field of view, better quality, but you guys aren't gonna see the reticle like I'm seeing it, but I'll try to get some footage through my phone again and compare that. Not bad. I just feel like mag dumping. That is next to impossible to try to get the perspective over the phone, but I am trying. Yeah, it looks all kind of funky. I definitely see it better than that, but big old field of view. See a lot more. Clarity is definitely amped up a decent amount as well. So very cool. I thought it'd be fair to put both price ranges on the same budget LPVO, and I think that kind of represented it pretty well. But since we're here, let's go ahead and throw this on the Mark 12 and mess around with it a little bit more as a clip-on. So even if you didn't want this on gun and just wanted this just as a quick scanner, and you're hunting with night vision for that matter and not thermal, that's why I really like this one over the others. But again, for the price, you can't go wrong with either one. This is just an idea I had. I have no idea it's going to work. But what I did is take the 635 and mounted it on a swivel that a Vortex 3X magnifier came on. So maybe you go to day to thermal really quickly. Will that hold 0? I don't know. So let's find out. Then back to day. Then back to thermal. All right, that kind of works. That's kind of cool. Unbelievably impressed with both of them, how versatile they are. As a standalone thermal optic, amazing. And I never would have thought this would have happened under $1,000. We're nowadays we're kind of used to inflation. Everything's just getting more and more expensive. But the technology from thermal is starting to become a lot more accessible to where that's the one thing actually coming down in price. And DNT is definitely leading that. That 635 is freaking amazing. But if you guys got the 800 bucks and don't want to spend the 2,000, can this at least scratch the itch? It does more than that. If you do have the money to spend it though, I definitely would not steer you guys away from this. Quality does get ramped up quite a bit, but more than that, that minimum magnification of 1.5 times zoom is the biggest difference I could say. The field of view for handhold, binocular, for clip-on, for everything, this one is amazing. I know $2,000 is not a small amount of money, but it is absolutely a bargain because it's relative to other thermals, and I can't believe that this thing is out in general. It seems like a kept secret, but that goes for both of them for that matter. And of course, there's that one in the middle that I can't speak on, but I'd imagine it's pretty awesome as well. I think that summarized it for the review standpoint. That about does it. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.